Imagine a weapon that travels so fast, it turns the air around it into a glowing sheath of plasma. A weapon that can strike a target 1,700 miles away in under 20 minutes. And there isn't a single defense system on Earth that can stop it. This isn't science fiction. This is 2026, and the US Army's Dark Eagle has just changed the rules of war forever. The Long-Range Hypersonic Weapon, or LRHW, is no longer a prototype. As we speak, batteries are being activated, crews are standing by, and the global balance of power is shifting. Today, we're breaking down the tech, the speed, and why the Dark Eagle makes traditional missile defense, including the vaunted S-400, completely obsolete. Welcome back. If you've been following this channel, you know we've been tracking the trajectory of American military power toward 2026. We've called it the year of unstoppable dominance, and the Dark Eagle is the centerpiece of that claim. Developed as a joint venture between the Army and Navy, the LRHW is a ground-launched, two-stage booster system that carries a common hypersonic glide body. While the media loves to talk about hypersonic as a buzzword, the Dark Eagle is a specific, terrifying reality. After years of testing delays, the first battery at Joint Base Lewis-McChord is now operational. But what does that actually mean for global stability? And how does a missile fly at Mach 5 and potentially up to Mach 10 without burning up? Let's get into the engineering of dominance. To understand why the Dark Eagle is a game changer, you have to understand the glide. Unlike a traditional ballistic missile, which follows a predictable arc like a thrown baseball, the LRHW doesn't just go up and come down. Once the two-stage booster reaches the upper atmosphere, it releases the hypersonic glide vehicle. This is where the Dark Eagle earns its name. It stays within the atmosphere, skipping along the edge of space. Because it's unpowered during this phase, it uses its kinetic energy to maneuver. Why does this matter? Because current missile defenses like the Russian S-400 or S-500 rely on calculating a predictable trajectory. You can't intercept what you can't predict. The Dark Eagle can change course mid-flight, weaving through blind spots in radar coverage. By the time a radar operator realizes they're being targeted, the weapon is already in its terminal phase, screaming down at speeds that can reach Mach 10. At that velocity, the sheer kinetic energy alone, without even mentioning the warhead, is enough to vaporize hardened bunkers. Let's talk numbers, because the geography of 2026 is defined by range. The Dark Eagle has an official range of approximately 1,725 miles, though recent intelligence suggests it could push closer to 2,100 miles depending on the flight profile. Think about that. From a mobile launcher on Guam, the US Army can strike targets in mainland China or the South China Sea in under 20 minutes. This effectively eliminates the anti-access, area denial bubbles that America's rivals have spent decades building. As of now, production is ramping up. We're looking at 1 missile per month, moving toward 2. With the activation of units like Bravo Battery, 117FR, and the 3rd Multi-Domain Task Force, the US is no longer just testing hypersonics. It is fielding them in numbers that matter. Now, it hasn't been a smooth road. The Army missed its initial end of 2025 deadline due to some integration challenges. But in the world of high-stakes military tech, that's a blink of an eye. As we move through early 2026, the full operational deployment is here. The Dark Eagle isn't just a weapon, it's a political statement. It tells the world that the gap in hypersonic technology, which many claimed Russia and China had closed, has been forcefully reopened. While the Chinese DF-17 is a formidable system, the Dark Eagle's integration into the US Army's multi-domain task force allows it to be networked with F-35s, satellites, and sea-based sensors. It's not just a lone missile, it's a node in a massive, intelligent killing web. This level of connectivity is what makes US military power in 2026 truly unstoppable. We need to address the elephant in the room. Can it be stopped? The short answer is, not with anything currently deployed. The heat generated by the Dark Eagle creates a sheath of plasma around the vehicle. This plasma can actually absorb radar waves, making it partially stealthy while moving at 5 times the speed of sound. Even if you could see it, The reaction window, the time between detection and impact, is so small that human-operated systems are useless. You would need AI-driven directed energy weapons, lasers, to even stand a chance, and those are still years away from being able to counter a heavy glide vehicle like the Dark Eagle. In 2026, the Dark Eagle provides the U.S. with a first look, first command capability. It means the U.S. can take out high-value targets, command centers, radar hubs, or even mobile missile launchers, before the enemy even knows the war has started. The arrival of the Dark Eagle marks the end of the post-Cold War era of military parity. By the end of 2026, with multiple batteries deployed across the Pacific and Europe, the U.S. Army will possess a long-range sniper rifle that can't be blocked. This is the definition of dominance. It's fast, it's precise, and it's finally here. If you found this breakdown of the Dark Eagle's tech valuable, make sure to hit the like button. We're covering the most advanced weapons of 2026 every single week, and you don't want to miss our next deep dive into the Navy's version of this system. Subscribe to stay informed on the future of military power. What do you think? Is the Dark Eagle the ultimate deterrent, or does it make a global conflict more likely? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching American Military Dominance. We'll see you in the next one.